In the heart of ancient Rome, where power and intrigue intertwined like the warm currents of these opulent baths, a tragedy was unfolding. Empress Fausta, once celebrated as the wife of Constantine the Great, now found herself ensnared in a web of betrayal and suspicion. Born into the imperial lineage, Fausta's marriage to Constantine was a strategic alliance, but now shadows of doubt clouded her standing. Crispus, her stepson, had been executed, a victim of courtly intrigue and perhaps her own ambitions. Driven by suspicion, Constantine confronted Fausta in this very place, once a sanctuary, now a chamber of judgment. His heart heavy with the weight of his decisions, he was a ruler torn between love and duty. But in the ruthless game of power, innocence is often a fleeting luxury. Constantine's heart, burdened by grief and anger, sought a reckoning. Fausta was executed by being locked in a bath which was overheated. In those final moments, Fausta's life flickered like a dying flame. The woman who once held the power of an empress was reduced to a pawn in a deadly game. In the grandeur of Rome, the echoes of her fate remind us that in the pursuit of power, no one is truly safe. In the shadow of the eternal city, a leader emerged whose vision would reshape the world. Born around 272 AD, Constantine the Great rose from humble beginnings to become one of Rome's most influential emperors. In 312 AD, during the pivotal Battle of the Milvian Bridge, Constantine faced his greatest challenge. Legend has it that he received a divine vision, a cross shining in the sky, leading him to embrace Christianity as the faith of the empire. His reign marked the dawn of a new era. The Edict of Milan in 313, he granted religious tolerance, allowing Christianity to flourish. He would go on to found Constantinople, a city that became the new heart of the Roman Empire and a beacon of culture and commerce. In the heart of the Roman Empire, where power and prestige reigned supreme, Empress Fausta emerged as a significant yet tragic figure. Born to the lineage of emperors, she became the wife of Constantine the Great, a union steeped in political ambition and hope. As the mother of 3 future emperors, Fausta wielded considerable influence. Yet the world of imperial politics was fraught with peril, where loyalty could quickly turn to suspicion. Tragedy struck with the execution of her stepson Crispus, a consequence of courtly machinations that cast a shadow over her reputation. Accusations of betrayal followed her like a haunting spectre. In a heart-wrenching twist, Constantine, torn between love and the desire for justice, condemned her. In the very baths that symbolized opulence, Fausta faced her tragic end, a victim of the empire's ruthless politics. In the year 326 AD, Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine the Great, embarked on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. Her mission was to uncover relics from the life of Jesus Christ, and at the heart of her journey lay a sacred goal, the discovery of the true cross. Helena began her search. According to tradition, she found her way to a spot on Golgotha, the site of Christ's crucifixion, where a pagan temple had been built to erase any trace of Christianity. After days of excavation, Helena's team unearthed 3 wooden crosses, but the question remained, which one was the true cross upon which Christ had been crucified? Legend has it that Helena ordered a test. One by one, the crosses were brought to a sick woman. As she touched the 3rd cross, she was miraculously healed. Helena was certain this was the true cross. When Constantine died in 337 AD, his vast empire faced a new challenge, the struggle for power among his 3 sons. Constantine II, the eldest, saw himself as the rightful leader of the entire empire. Bold and ambitious, he controlled the Western territories, including Gaul, Britain, and Spain. But his thirst for total control would soon lead him into conflict. Constans, the youngest, held Italy, Africa, and parts of the Balkans. Known for his strong will, he was often at odds with his brother Constantine II. Their rivalry would ultimately lead to bloodshed, forever altering the family's legacy. Constantius II, the middle brother, inherited the eastern provinces, including the prized city of Constantinople. Caught between internal family strife and external threats from the Sassanid Empire, Constantius faced mounting pressure to keep his realm intact. Constantius was about to make the division of the empire slightly easier to understand. Shortly after his father's funeral, Constantius locked down the palace in Constantinople and had the troops massacre his cousins and uncles, including Dalmatius and Hannibalianus. This assured the division of the empire between Constantius and his two brothers. There did, however, remain two boys in the family, too young to pose any threat to Constantius at the time, Gallus and Julian. The harmony between the three brothers did not surprisingly last long. Constantine II, obviously unsatisfied with his lot, began to covet the dominions of his youngest brother. First, he insisted that Constans hand over the African provinces, which Constans agreed to in the hope of avoiding conflict. However, he retained control of Carthage and its surroundings, as he refused to break the valuable Carthage-Italy tax and grain spine. In 340 AD, Constantine marched into Italy in a ruse claiming to be marching to support his young brother's campaigns in Dacia. However, he began to lay siege to Aquileia, where he was killed by an elite detachment of Constance's troops. From then on, the youngest brother took over the entire West and controlled the largest part of the empire. The young Constans did not rule well. Sources describe his rule as an intolerable tyranny, which led to much resentment from the noble and officer classes. Along with the accusation of corruption, he is also accused of neglecting portions of the empire and treating his soldiers with contempt. He also rewarded a select body of Germanic troops with whom he hunted, to the neglect of the rest of the army. Gradually, a conspiracy formed, and in 350 AD, the Rhine legions proclaimed the general Magnentius as emperor at a banquet in autumn. The rest of the Western legions soon joined Magnentius's cause, and Constans, absent of support, chose flight. He was unable to escape Gaul before he was caught and executed. Magnentius had secured the support of the entire Gallic prefecture, Britain, Gaul, and Hispania, and soon moved on to Italy. In Rome, one of the descendants of Constantine and a survivor of the massacre of the princes, Nepotianus, declared himself emperor. He lasted less than a month in the ancient capital before Magnentius' forces paraded his head around the city. Constantius II was outraged. A deeply devout Christian and determined ruler, he saw Magnentius as a usurper and a threat to the empire's unity. Determined to reclaim his father's legacy, Constantius gathered his forces for war. For 3 years, the two armies clashed in brutal conflicts. The decisive battle came in 351 AD at Mursa Major, one of the bloodiest battles in Roman history. Though victorious, Constantius's forces paid a heavy price, with tens of thousands dead. Zosimus called the battle at Mursa a major disaster, with the army so weakened that it could not counter barbarian incursions. The death of Magnentius did not do much to ease the concerns of Constantius for the security of his throne. True, he was now the ruler of the whole empire, but the scope of his awesome power made him constantly worried about ceding or losing it. As he had left for the west for the campaign against Magnentius, he had appointed one of his surviving cousins, Gallus, as Caesar to rule over the east in his absence. Gallus proved either to be a decadent, ineffectual, and potentially treasonous Caesar, or he made enemies in Antioch that sought to portray him as such. Regardless, Gallus was eventually lured towards Milan in 354 with the promise of promotion to full Augustus. However, en route, he was captured, interrogated, and executed by some of Constantius' senior officers. Julian, Constantius's cousin and the last surviving male of their family line, was a scholar and philosopher with a passion for Rome's ancient culture. Though raised as a Christian, Julian secretly admired the pagan traditions of Rome's past, a belief he would later act upon. Despite his suspicions, Constantius appointed Julian as Caesar of the West in 355 AD, hoping his young cousin would secure the empire's borders. But as Julian led a series of successful campaigns in Gaul, his popularity among the soldiers grew. By 360 AD, tensions erupted. Julian's army, loyal and eager to see him as their ruler, declared him Augustus, a direct challenge to Constantius's authority. Constantius saw Julian's rise as an act of rebellion. Determined to bring his cousin to heel, he prepared for a confrontation. But before the cousins could meet in battle, Constantius fell ill and died on the evening of the 3rd of November. Once in power, Julian revealed his intentions to restore the traditional Roman religions. He repealed Christian privileges, revived pagan practices, and encouraged a return to what he saw as Rome's authentic heritage. Julian's reforms sparked controversy. He became known as the Apostate, the one who abandoned the Christian faith. Though he claimed tolerance, his policies stirred resentment among Christians and reignited religious tensions across the empire. Ambitious on the battlefield, as well as in philosophy, Julian launched a campaign against the powerful Persian Empire. Across the border, the Sassanid king, Shapur II, was a formidable ruler known for his resilience and military skill. For years, Shapur had defended his lands against Roman advances, and he was determined to hold his ground. Julian, in 363 AD, at the height of his campaign, was fatally wounded in battle. He chose to spend his last moments arguing philosophical matters with his soldiers. With his last breath, Julian's attempt to restore the pagan past ended. As Julian lay dying, he reportedly uttered his final words, "You have won, Galilean," a message of resignation to the faith he had tried to overthrow. The death of Julian the Apostate closed the Constantinian era, a dynasty that had led Rome through turbulent times and left a lasting legacy, not of ancient gods, but of a faith that would shape the empire for centuries to come.